Guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're back for my monthly reading wrap up for November. Who else is a little bit weirded out by the fact that it's already December? I mean, for me filming today, tomorrow's December, to be fair. But it feels a little strange that the year is nearly over, to be honest. I feel like it's flown by, but it also feels like it's actually been quite a long year since I started reading. It's a really weird feeling I've got. But anyway, so in November I read 10 books, which means I only have to read 9 books next month to reach my 100 books goal read for the year. So I think that's doable. I definitely think that's doable. Let's get started. Let's kick off with what we read last month. So first off, I read the If Love series by Anna Huang. So it starts off with If We Ever Meet Again. I'm going to go into like a little bit backstory about the full series. Basically, this series is about a group of friends who meet while they are on like a study abroad year in Shanghai from their different like universities. So they're all at the same university in Shanghai for a year. So book 1 and 2, so If We Ever Meet Again and If the Sun Never Sets, are about the same couple, Farah and Blake. So they meet in Shanghai, fall in love as one does, and then something happens where it's not like I have happily ever after, let's say. So something happens in this at the end, okay, of the book, which obviously then goes on to the second book. I did guess book 2 what would happen based on book 1, and I'm saying that is, I haven't even worded that technically correctly, but I don't want to spoil it in any way that you could guess if you've read book 1 but not book 2 yet. To be fair, if you've read book 1, you probably guessed as well. It's kind of stereotypical, cliche, like it's very cliche, like, I don't know. It's like a plot that's been done many times, but I did enjoy it. The only thing is I just think Blake is a complete idiot in both books. He really didn't change. He was still a bit of an idiot. Well, no, he did change, and then there's like, I don't know how to explain it. The way he grovelled at the end, I just feel like she forgave him way too quick, to be honest. But again, they're short books. I mean, this one's less than 300 pages, so I rated both of them 3.5 stars because I just felt as a couple I didn't really root for them. They were cute in book 1, like when they were in Shanghai, like it was really cute, and then what happens at the end made me dislike it because I hate that trope. And then in book 2, it felt like he hadn't changed enough, and he didn't do enough to prove that he was worth her time and trust. That's just how I felt. And then book 3 is If Love Had a Price. So this one's following Chris and Nate. So Chris was in Shanghai. Nate wasn't there. He is a new character in this. So this one follows the summer when they've all kind of returned from Shanghai. Did I say, by the way, this one's 5 years later and in New York? I don't know if I did, but there you go. So yeah, this one I rated 4 stars. I love book boyfriends called Nate. I've yet to meet a book boyfriend called Nate that wasn't amazing. I love Nate. And I found as a couple where Blake and Farah it wasn't it. These two I loved. They really, really balanced each other out, and I thought they were a really cute couple. In this one, Nate's dad is struggling with an alcohol addiction. His mom's not around. He's got a younger sister still in school, and he's just sort of trying to make as much money as he can, and he really wants to be an actor. So yeah, basically Chris comes up to him with a deal where obviously she at this point does not know that he's struggling for money, but she just kind of thinks, I'm rich, everyone can be bought, and I need your help to prove that my stepmother is not good enough for my dad, is basically what she's trying to say. And he kind of goes along with her plan, and it ends up being like a fake dating trope, which is quite fun. Yeah, how I feel, because obviously with book 2 being set 5 years later, you kind of know, well, you meet Nate in book 2, but it's 5 years later, so obviously this has already come to a close. It's been their happy ever after. So I feel like the real order should be book 1, then book 3 should be book 2, because storyline wise it follows on directly from book 1. Then it should be book 2, and then book 4, because in order of events it would be 1, 3, 2, 4. So I feel like that should have been the way it was. I feel like we wouldn't have minded waiting to then find out what happened between Blake and Farah. But yeah, that's just a thought. But yeah, this one, book 3, 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought they were really cute. Yeah. And then book 4 is If We Were Perfect. So this one's following Olivia and Sammy, who were a couple in Shanghai. Again, it's second chance. So we have 2 second chance romances going on in this. So it follows Olivia and Sammy, who were a couple in Shanghai, and they lasted through Shanghai, and they both got internships in New York once that year finished for their summer. So basically it's Sammy, Farah and Olivia, the 3 of them, were in New York. And something happens, and she never tells Farah. So in like book 2, you're not like, it's just known that these 2 are broken up and hate each other, but you don't know why. And I'm like, that's so unrealistic. Best friends would tell each other what's going on. Farah would know, but she didn't have a clue. The reason, it just felt like it wasn't a good enough reason for me, to be honest. But yeah, Sammy was a really good character in book 1. He was like really cute, and he just like, he was a nice character. And then in this one, he's also being his character, but obviously with him being the male lead, they bring the sexiness of Sammy out. And let's just say this man rocks the shirtless with grey sweatpants look. Yeah, but I rated it 4 stars because I thought it was good. And again, I thought they were a good match. I think my favourite couple is Chris and Nate. Second favourite would be these 2. But that's not hard when the other couple is Blake and Farah, let's be real. Okay, then I read Things We Left Behind. I went into this not expecting much, mostly because, bear in mind, I loved book 1 and 2. They were both 5 stars. But then this one came out, and I didn't read it straight away because I was in a bit of a slump, and it's a thick old boy, so I didn't want to like, I felt like I was not in the right headspace to read it, and I didn't want to like ruin it for myself by reading it at the wrong time. So I waited. And I'm glad I waited, because I went in with no expectations. I just was in to read it and be back in the Knock 'Em Out world. And I actually rated this 5 stars. I really liked it. A lot of people think this is just all the other couples, and I just didn't see that. I saw it like they each had things going on, and it was their story. And like, yes, there was quite a lot of the other couples involved, but because it's such a big found family and all of their lives are so intertwined with each other, that just made sense, and I really enjoyed that. Most of the romance is at the end, I won't lie, but I think I read this in over 2 days, and so I think because I read it so quickly, it didn't feel like it was like a slow burn, even though it technically was. But Lucien did a full 180 at the end. Like, he was kind of iconic at the very end. He was like, no, you're my woman, whether you like it or not. And I kind of love that. So yeah, I loved this series. Every book was 5 stars for me. I loved all the couples. It was, yeah, and it was a good wrap up as well of the mystery that's been going on between all 3 books. So yeah, I don't have much more to say. I just really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I went with like I didn't have any expectations, because I think if I did, it would have been a lower rating. But I went in just for vibes alone, and I think that was the best way to go into this book. Okay, next I read One of Us Is Lying. This one I kind of read, but I mostly listened to an audiobook, which I'm glad I did, because I think if I read it, I just would not have gotten through the book. I, from the beginning, had a feeling I knew who the killer was, and I was right. And it is a YA, okay, and I am 26 now, so I think it was kind of fun. Like I say, I liked the audiobook. What I found annoying about the audiobook is that I think there's a male and a female voice actor. I think there's only the 2, but it's, I don't know. I just thought if it was in the girls' POV, obviously the female voice actor was the one speaking, but she still did like the males' voices, and I hate that when they're like, ugh, and like they try and speak and like they go like, yeah, Bella, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I hate that. They had a male on site. they had a male on the project, he should have done the lines, in my opinion, to make it less annoying to listen to. And vice versa. The guys were doing the girls' voices, and it sounds stupid. I'm sorry, but it does. And it takes me out of it. I rated it 3 stars. I guess Who the Killer Was. It was okay. But I don't think I'm going to continue with the series, to be honest. So, yeah. Then I read Kingdom of the Wicked, which I rated 4 stars. I, again, was partly listening to this on audiobook because Spotify, now you can listen to audiobooks on Spotify, and I had this on and I had like a lot of stuff to do, but I wanted to read more. So I found this a little bit slow at first. I found reading, like having the audiobook on helped getting through that those slow parts, because obviously I was doing something at the same time as listening. But it is understandable that it's a bit slow because it is a trilogy, so you have to kind of set up the story, you know. Again, this was voiced by one person, and it was a woman, obviously, because it's in the part of a woman. So I can excuse the fact that she did Wrath's voice, but once Wrath was properly in it, I had to stop listening to the audiobook because she ruined him for me. I'm not gonna lie. Again, it's because it's a woman doing a man's voice. I needed a sexy man voice for Wrath, because he's a sexy man. The whole point is that he's a ridiculously hot demon. That being said, I think once we hit like just over the halfway point, Wrath really was giving, and I need more. Basically, the way this ended, I was fully prepared to go right into the next book, and I started reading this so that I went I went to the bookstore, I went to Waterstones on my birthday, so I started reading this just before my birthday, so I would know if I wanted to buy book 3, because I already had book 2, so I could binge them. The problem was I saw Iron Flame in the works for £11. And when I originally saw Fourth Ring in the works, I saw one book and I didn't see it after that. And I thought, what if this goes out just as quickly? So instead of continuing the series like I wanted to, because I was starting to like Wrath properly, and it ended in a way where I'm like, I need to know what happens next, I read Fourth Ring. And I read this knowing I started this on the Sunday, which was like the 19th, knowing on the Monday I got paid and I was gonna go back in to the works to get Iron Flame if I liked this book. I got quarter of a way through this book and I was like, I know for a fact I need Iron Flame. So yeah, I got it. It was £11. Okay, I wasn't paying it was £22. It says it's meant to be. And in the works, in Waterstones, it was £3 off. I was not paying £19 for this. I'm sorry. I got it for 11. And it's really big. I did not realise how big it was going to be. Like, oh, anyway. Fourth thing. If you hadn't guessed, yes, these are the 2 books that have changed me as a person. I can't tell you how much I regret reading these. And I don't mean that in the way you're thinking. I immediately know people are if you're reading this and thinking, oh my god, you hated the book. No, I love the book. I regret reading it because now, after reading both of them, I have to wait like a year for the next one. The third one is not like expected to be out until December 2024. That's what Goodreads says anyway. And I can't wait that long. I will cry. I want to cry thinking about the fact that I have to wait that long. I can't do that. Okay, I'm going to say, they were both 5 stars. Okay, both of them were 5 stars. One of my friends has actually read both books before me. And she's not like a big reader, but she's also like, anything she does read, she's got very high expectations. And so she rates things lower than I do. She's harder to like things, and she really liked the books. So I thought, well, I'm definitely going to like them. Right, so Fourth Ring, I can't get over how good it was. Xaden, oh my god, Xaden. I'm gonna put it out there now. I'm still a Rhysand girl. But Xaden is a very close second for fantasy men. Okay? Very close second. The only reason I am more of a Rhysand girl, I think it's the only reason, I'm not sure. Rhysand literally told Favour everything. Okay, and this man is like, he was very secretive. Okay, there was a lot going on. And I can't have that in a man. I need a man to tell me literally everything. Any little thing. If something random happens during the day, I want a text just to tell me. Okay, I want full disclosure. Just like how Violet wanted full disclosure, to be fair. Zayden is not that man, okay? So that is why I do prefer his son. Anyway, yes, so this book, I just found it was really, really easy to get into. It just went straight into the action. And what I liked is that the world building was kind of like, for a lot of like the little facts you hear about the world are told through Violet's thoughts when she's like reciting facts she knows to keep herself calm. And I thought that was like a really smart idea, to be honest. Because it means you're still in the action, but you're learning about the world and the politics and everything as you're going. And I also like how at the beginning of every chapter there's like would help if I could find a chapter. There's at the beginning of every chapter there's like a bit on the top that's like a little bit of information, and it says like where it's come from. So like this one is from an unedited history by Colonel Lewis Markham. So I really like those little bits because you can choose whether or not you want to read them realistically. The only thing gripe I have is that these chapters are very long. Very long. And I don't know why it took me so long to read this book. It took me 19, 20, 20... it took me 3 days. That's really not that long, actually. But considering that was 3 days where I was off work and I could just read all day, I feel like it took me ages to read. And I don't know what it is. The writing's not particularly small. There is, I suppose it really does fill the page though, actually. So there are a few plot twists, and I did guess, I think all of them at various degrees before the plot twist happened, whether it was just before or like quite a ways before. Maybe there was a couple things I didn't guess for smaller things. Yeah, but that didn't take away the enjoyment for me. I still really enjoyed the book, even though I'd like guessed a lot of what was going to happen. I think it was just like, I don't know, I think it was kind of obvious for some things, but yeah, I've put here, Dane is Tamlin 2.0 and Xaden is perfection. And I'm saying that because Dane is overprotective to a fault, like Tamlin was. And then Iron Flame, obviously I started reading straight away the same day, and this one took me like 4 days to read. Again, 5 stars. Dane started to redeem himself. He's no longer Tamlin 2.0. He's still not great, but the start of redemption is there, which I'm quite thankful for because I just could not be bothered for another Tamlin, to be honest with you. Xaden's still perfection, but even more secretive. What annoyed me is that any information she wanted, she had to ask for. And so he wouldn't just tell her things. He was like, oh no, I'll be completely honest with you, but you have to ask the question. And it's like, how does she even know what she needs to ask? Because she doesn't know what's going on. So I just didn't really like that, to be honest, about him. And that annoyed me a little bit. But the throne scene. It was giving Reese Lawson, and I love that. But, yeah. One thing as well I have actually forgotten to mention that is obviously also happens in Fourth Wing, well, especially in Fourth Wing. In both books, the smut is really good. But obviously Fourth Wing is when the first smut scene happens, so that's after like the build-up of tension. Rebecca Yarros, I have never read smut where the build-up of sexual tension and the like release of that sexual tension was written so well. I felt a bit like, oh, I feel like I'm feeling the sexual tension. Like, what's going on here? It was written so well. It just perfectly, I don't even know how to describe it myself, but I felt like you could feel their sexual tension and you could feel how much they were, like, dying to be with each other. And no, I don't mean romantically. Yeah, I thought it was written so well. And it's not that it was the most detailed smut I've ever read, because it's not like it's like a dark romance where every stroke is mentioned. So it wasn't like super detailed in that way. Obviously it was detailed, it was good smut. It was just like, I don't know, you felt like you were in it. It was really good. So obviously the first smut scene especially, but yeah, in this one too, and especially on that throne scene, it was good. It was very, very good. And the final book I read was Pumpkin Spice Cafe by, this one's, Laurie Gilmore. I read this because apparently it's Gilmore Girls vibes. I rated this 4 stars. It took me like 2 days to read. The writing is really big in here, okay? Like I was reading like it over a page a minute. Like it wasn't like like a double page. It was like a double page a minute pretty much, so I was reading it dead quick. It was very cute and it was very cozy, and I did enjoy the book. I thought it was going to be like spicy, and yes, there is spice in this. I would say the spice is like 1.5, 2 at most, that's giving it a push, chili peppers out of 5. It was like, it wasn't very detailed, it was like a very short scene, and I was a little bit bored. But again, that's because I've read like really like extensive smut, or like really like well detailed. I think this smut compared to Four Things smut, just there's no comparison. Four Things way better. But yeah, I think people just made it sound like it was spicier than it is, but the spice is at the very end, and it's just really not like. It wasn't bad spice. It's just it wasn't like A tier spice. You know, I would say it was solid C tier if we're going on a tiered scale. But the actual romance story was cute. It's a bit insta-lovey. I won't lie. It's a little bit insta-lovey. But it was cute. It was fun. It was cozy. Perfect for autumn. I wouldn't necessarily say I got Gilmore Girls vibes off it though. And I say that in the middle of watching Gilmore Girls. I wouldn't say I got Gilmore Girls. I kind of understood how he was a bit like Luke. But she was not like Lorelai. So... And the town, it was just regular found family rather than Stars Hollow vibes. So, yeah. I've also seen... So, also, why is there so many random pages that has nothing in the end of this book? I don't understand. Anyway, in the very back of this book, it says the next book is going to be called The Bluebell Bookstore, which I thought sounded so cute. She's changed the name to Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, which I don't like. And me and my friend were talking about this. Bluebell Bookstore sounds like an actual bookstore. Cinnamon Bun Bookstore does not sound like a bookstore. It sounds like you're trying to stick in with the vibe of pumpkin spice. And I understand that, but it makes me not like it. The Bluebell Bookstore makes more sense. And it sounded nicer. But she's changed it. Which is a shame, because Bluebell Bookstore it has a nice ring. Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is just too much. Bluebell Bookstore is nice. I mean, am I going to read it? Yeah, probably. But that is neither here nor there. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Really easy and quick to read, but the spice wasn't quite there for me. And that's the books I read last month. Okay, so my TBR for next month. If we're gonna go, we'll start with just regular books. Obviously, I want to read Kingdom of the Cursed and Kingdom of the Feared. They're books 2 and 3 in the... What series is this even called? Kingdom series? Kingdom of series? I don't actually know what the series is called, but it's book 2 and 3 of Kingdom of the Wicked, basically. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into both of these books. I'm probably going to read these first, to be honest. And then also, for finishing series, Hopeless by Elsie Silver. Yeah, I want to read Hopeless by Elsie Silver to finish off the Chestnut Spring series, even though I will probably cry once this is over, because I need more. I'm really looking forward to reading it though, because I just love her writing. She is amazing. And but again, this one, like with Things We Left Behind, I feel like so many people did like this book because they had expectations. So I'm going in with no expectations. So hopefully I will still like the book. Fingers crossed. I also want to read King of Greed by Anna Huang because it came out and I'm in the middle of obviously reading this series. So I'm looking forward to this one. And then we've got a few Christmas books. So like I say, I need 9 in total books to read to get my 100 goals. So my TBR my TBR this month is 9 books. So then I've got, I had those 4 books, then I've got 5 Christmassy books. So we've got Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey, Love Life Farms by B.K. Borison, A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. I have the next book on the way as well, not gonna lie. And then Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella, because I already had it. And actually, I think this at the moment this is on the $2.50 or buy 3 for £6 at the works. I've had this for years, so I thought, well, it's a Christmas book, I might as well try and read it. So those are the books I want to read, and the books I have read last month. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you plan to read next month and what Christmassy books you're planning to read and what you have read, what you recommend. I'm always open to suggestions. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, obviously. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!